Spirit, take over. Take over. Spirit, take over. Take over. Spirit of God, take over. Take over. Holy Spirit, take over. I cannot do it by myself unless you take over. I cannot do it by myself, Lord. Holy Spirit, take over. Oh, take over. Spirit of God, take over. Take over. Holy Spirit, take over. I cannot walk in your ways unless you take over. I cannot walk in your path unless you take over. Eterva hasso fine pelevere aba movele dies vemeta che pompele do si femenia mahando fisendrin ominia vele duvusia movriani che mamania vemo di su femele vorianoia. Oh, take over. 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 Spirit of God, take over. Have belle vereba savamata leveno sedrie velena maino. Evelene paravatas of the villian mele divine every ascend. A pacarapamana neville divis in the hand of the Yavala Baravadine. A pelend of Osam and Levriaten. Copega fria sofen and Niava Movella dirvento sin. A pembeniava Melia sem and Biavena de Kayanai. Umbria vasivili dito Vahamanetu. Kevesiviane livria mabano. Oh, take over. Spirit of God, take over. Take over. Holy Spirit, take over. How can we walk in your ways unless you take over? How can we walk in your path unless you take over? Take over. 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 How can we know you as you are unless you take over? How can we see you as you are unless you take over? How can we know you as you are unless you take over. How can we see you as you were? Holy Spirit, take over. Take over. Take over. Take over. Take over. Sembria bala deva monteleve me suvia marvataino vide. We want to walk in your ways, we want to walk in your part, but we cannot do it by ourselves, Lord. We want to follow your will, we want to obey your word, but we cannot do it by ourselves, Lord. Oh, we want to love the way you do. Teach us, Lord, teach us, Lord. Oh, take over. Take over. Take over. Take over. We want to love the way you do. Holy Spirit, take over. We want to walk in your ways. Holy Spirit, take over. Atevera mama le shivele dike devaya mateve sovele everyanom. Kevera bahama mesiveni amati everyano vaya bam. Esivemelia borretine. Esekadega yavala do vaya da karveti dia kasada vana da vaya da kaino. Esivenemia bele devriane seteno kovri hani eni. Oh, Spirit of God, have your way. Spirit of God, have your way. Oh, we cannot do it by ourselves unless you take over. We cannot love the way you do unless you take over. We cannot walk the way you walk unless you take over. We cannot talk the way you talk unless you take over. How can we walk in your ways unless you take over? Take over. Take over. Take over. Take over.
Have your way, sweet Spirit of God.
Have your way. Oh, divine, have your way, have your way, have your way, sweet Spirit of God, have your way. Oh, let your fruits reside in me. Let your fruits reside in me, that when they see me, they see you. Oh, take over. Take over. Take over. Take over. We don't want to be like they that look at the mirror and forget how they look like. Oh, take over. Have your way, have your way, have your way, have your way in me. Take over. Asheva mabaria ve no vriede.